Today on Inquirer. Philippines and China to meet in May for joint oil and gas exploration preparatory talks. Malacanang identifies 4 additional Edca sites. More Filipinos still oppose charter change according to a Pulse Asia survey, but support for a move to amend the Constitution grew in the past 6 months. And BTS Jimin tops Billboard Hot 100, becoming the first K-pop solo artist to do so in history. Today on Inquirer. Good evening. The Philippines and China are set to meet in May on the plan to revive oil and gas exploration discussions. The Department of Foreign Affairs says representatives of the two countries will meet for preparatory talks in Beijing in May. The meeting is set to iron out the details of the controversial deal in waters within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. DFA says the discussion is in line with the agreement of both nations to resume oil and gas search talks over the disputed waters. This was a deal sealed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Chinese President Xi Jinping during the former state visit to Beijing in January. The plan to revive oil and gas exploratory talks with China has since triggered varied reactions from the public, including lawmakers. Senator Francis Tolentino earlier warned the DFA to take caution in pursuing the agreement. He argued that it could be abused and may even result in more presence of Chinese vessels unlawfully encroaching on Philippine waters. But the DFA says its chief Enrique Manalo has assured Tolentino that updates would be provided on this matter. The Department of Health says it is open to a Senate inquiry on the alleged lapses in the facility's operations and quality care at the National Center for Mental Health. DOH officer in charge Maria Rosario Vergere says they are open to the investigation and that they are trying to improve the situation at the NCMH. Vergere's reaction comes after Senator Raffy Tulfo lodged a resolution seeking to look into the condition of NCMH facilities in Mandaluyong City. Vergere says several improvements have been made to the NCMH throughout the years. She also assures the public that the DOH remains committed to boosting the center's capabilities. However, she also notes that there are still challenges within the system. She specifically notes the said pavilion for patients with criminal charges, which she said might have been the specific portion Tulfo was referring to. The pavilion currently houses over 600 patients, despite being built to only house around 300. Vergere points out that the DOH is now expanding the NCMH pavilion with a new building for the first phase of improvements set to be finished by April. Basilan Representative Mujib Hataman says that he wants a review of maritime laws after the ferry fire that killed dozens of people in the waters of Basilan. To tell us more, here's Jean Mahaluz reporting live. Jean?
Well, Bay, after the Holy Week break, Hataman plans to file a House resolution to probe the fatal ferry fire that killed dozens of people in the waters of Basilan. Included in the probe is a review of pertinent maritime laws, common carrier statuses, and operational rules and regulations for sea vessels. Hataman questions if existing laws and regulations concerning ferries are enough to protect passengers, or whether the problem stems in their implementation. The Solon hopes for a guide to craft legislation that strengthens legal protection for passengers at sea, saying that he wants to know the cause of this tragedy. According to the Philippine Coast Guard's latest update on Monday, at least 29 people have died in the vessel fire. Several people are also reported missing. Other than Hataman, lawmakers from the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament have also sought a probe into the vessel fire. Senator Grace Poe also reiterated her call for an independent safety travel board. The ill-fated MV Lady Mary Joy III was bound for Sulu from Zamboanga when it caught on fire on the night of March 29. It carried with it 205 passengers and 35 crew members. That's it for me, Bae. Back to you.
And Jean, I'm very curious because this means there's action in the House on the matter. But aside from the call of Senator Poe that you mentioned earlier, are there parallel efforts to probe into this incident in the upper chamber?
Well, Senator Joel Villanueva actually said that the disaster was preventable had the ship owner, crew, PCG, and the marina had been more diligent in ensuring a safe voyage. Therefore, he has filed a resolution asking for a probe to look into how the concerned agencies, especially the marina and the PCG, are strictly enforcing rules on seaworthiness. Senator Jingoy Estrada also said that he believes that the concerned agencies, especially the marina, should stay on top of conducting a no-nonsense probe into the latest maritime catastrophe.
That's Jean Mangaluz. More Filipinos are still opposed to amending the 1987 Constitution, according to Pulse Asia's latest charter change survey. In the poll conducted from March 15 to 19, 2023, Pulse Asia finds that Cha-Cha remains unfavorable for 45% and favorable for 41% of 1,200 adult respondents. Compared with the same survey made in September 2022, however, Pulse Asia notes that Cha-Cha has become more pronounced in the March audit. To recall, the September 2022 study showed 31% agreed, while 56% disagreed with proposals to tinker with the Constitution. The March Cha-Cha survey was conducted after the House of Representatives passed a bill seeking to implement a resolution calling for a constitutional convention to amend or revise the 36-year-old charter. Next on Inquirer Today. Malacanang identifies 4 additional Edca sites. Families of the victims in the Pamplona massacre may have the opportunity to confront suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. The Philippine National Police reminds the public of safety protocols for the Holy Week. BTS Jimin tops Billboard Hot 100, becoming the first K-pop solo artist to do so in history. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
This artist made a portrait of actor Coco Martin using fingernails.
Ako po si Crispin Valdez, gumagawa po ako ng nail artwork po. Nagkukupo po ako, naisip ko na, what if gamitin ko po yung kuko to portray Coco Martin. Bali, inipon ko po yung mga kuko for almost 2 years na po. Then yung mga kapitbahay ko po, mga pinsan ko, mga auntie ko, kapatid ko, binibigay rin po nila yung mga kuko nila. Then almost, I think mga 80 to 90% po, galing po sa akin yung mga kuko. Then yung another 20% po, galing na po sa mga kapitbahay, sa mga relatives ko po. Dito ko po iniipon. Sinabi ko po na ipoportrait ko si Coco Martin, pero hindi sila naniniwala po. Pero binibigay pa rin po nila yung mga kuko nila.
After 2 years of collecting fingernails, Crispin started working on his project.
Sinimulan po siya nung March 15, tapos po siya almost 15 days po. Medyo mahirap din po yung pag-visualize kasi nung una, para hindi po kaya, mahirap po. Bali, kailangan ko pong gupitin pa yung mga kuko into small pieces para maforma po yung mukha ni idol ko. Gamit po ako ng glue para may dikit po yung mga kuko. More than 1,000 po yung nagamit ko na kuko. Tabuo ko para hindi po ako makapaniwala na ganun po yung kakalabasan.
While many were amazed with Crispin's extraordinary artwork, many were also shocked.
Nidiri daw sila sa materials na ginamit ko. Yun nga po yung karamihan sa comment section dun sa pinost ko po. Pero yung pong ginamit ko na ako po, na-sanitize po yun. Every time po na nilalagay po yung mga nagugupit na ko po, nilalagyan ko po ng alcohol. Yung mga maiitit lang po, yun lang po yung hindi ko na po natanggal kasi po ng pahin po. Nagpapasalamat pa rin po ako sa kanila kasi na-notice po nila yung obra ko. Saka magpapatuloy pa rin po ako sa mga gusto kong gawin kahit ano pa pong sabihin nila. Gawin ko na lang pong lakas yung mga komento nila para sa ganun maka-step up pa rin po ako sa mga gusto kong gawin.
Aside from the nail artwork, Crispin also made a portrait of Senator Bato Dela Rosa using stones. And he's got a few more projects lined up.
Bali, gagawin ko po si Dwayne Johnson The Rock. Yun po yung comment nila noon na gawan ko rin daw po si Dwayne Johnson The Rock na ng portrait na gawa naman po sa bato. Then, gagawin ko rin po si Dingdong Dantes na gamit naman po yung wrapper ng Dingdong na snack. Sepi laurel po. Gagamitin ko naman po yung mga laurel, recados po. And then si Coach Bamboo po ng The Boys Philippines. Ang gagamitin ko naman po is bamboo po.
Families of victims in the Pamplona massacre may have the opportunity to confront suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnulfo Teves Jr. at a Senate panel probe into the spate of political killings in the country. Senator Bato Dela Rosa says the panel would seek the presence of Teves, whether physical or virtual, as a resource person in the hearing. Teves has been tagged as a key orchestrator in the March 4th incident, which resulted in the deaths of Degamo and 8 others at the local officials' residence in Pamplona, Negros Oriental. De La Rosa further notes that Degamo's widow, Mayor Janice Degamo, and the bereaved kin of the victims of the Pamplona massacre, as well as other Negros Oriental killings, would be invited to the Senate investigation as well. The panel will also secure a clearance from the court to summon the arrested suspects, including Marvin Miranda. Miranda is a military reservist and the longtime bodyguard of the Negros Oriental legislator, tagged as the alleged mastermind in the Degamo slay. The probe, which will start on April 17, was prompted by the resolution lodged by Senator Risa Hontiveros calling for the upper chamber to conduct an inquiry into the assassination of Degamo and the series of political violence and killings in the country. Malacanang identifies 4 additional enhanced defense cooperation agreement sites. Daphne Galvez has the report.
Malacanang has named 4 new locations deemed as suitable and mutually beneficial as additional sites where U.S. troops will have access under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement or Edca. The Presidential Communications Office has identified the sites as the Camilo Ocias Naval Base in Santa Ana, Cagayan, Lalo Airport in Lalo, Cagayan, Camp Melchor de la Cruz in Gamo, Isabela, and Balabac Island in Palawan. The PCO said the Armed Forces of the Philippines has already inspected and assessed the sites. The palace said these additional sites are seen to boost the country's disaster response since the locations will also be used for humanitarian and relief operations during emergencies and natural disasters. Signed in 2014, Edca allows U.S. military personnel to train with local troops as well as build and operate facilities inside the Philippine military bases. The agreement, however, does not allow the U.S. to establish permanent military bases in the Philippines. Edca, which also complements the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty between the two nations, also allows the U.S. to preposition supplies and equipment in the country.
The Philippine National Police reminds the public of safety protocols for the Holy Week. The PNP advises people planning to leave their houses who will take their Holy Week break to refrain from letting others know that no one is left at home to avoid burglars. The PNP also reminds travelers to avoid bringing big pieces of luggage and large amounts of cash during their trips. The PNP is currently on heightened alert and has already deployed nearly 78,000 personnel nationwide for maximum police visibility. That's during the Holy Week and for the duration of the school summer break. BTS member Jimin tops the Billboard Hot 100 chart, becoming the first K-pop solo artist to do so in history. Here's Hannah Maligorka's report.
Jimin from BTS made history as the first K-pop soloist to land on top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart with a song like Crazy, which is the title track of his debut solo album Face. The song landed on top of the Billboard Hot 100 main singles chart dated April 8 and was followed by Miley Cyrus's Flowers, Morgan Wallen's Last Night, and SZA's Kill Bill. Face, which was released on March 24, also entered the Billboard 200 main albums chart at number 2 this week, which makes it the highest rank reached by any K-pop solo artist. Meanwhile, Jimin's song Set Me Free Part 2 ranked on the 30th spot of the Billboard singles chart last week. The song was a pre-release track for his solo record and was released on March 17. Following the milestone, Jimin thanked his fans in a live video through fan community platform Weverse on Tuesday, saying, "I have no idea what to say because it feels so unreal. Thank you so much. The producers that I work with are crying. Thank you to everyone that helped make the album, but mostly, thank you to everyone who liked it." BTS holds the record for most #1 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, which includes Dynamite, Life Goes On, Butter, and Permission to Dance, as well as collab songs Savage Love and My Universe. Born as Park Jimin, Jimin is the 4th BTS member to debut as a soloist, following J-Hope, Jin, and RM.
Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Bay at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Sa ilang dekadang pamamayagpag ng nag-iisang star for all seasons na si Vilma Santos, ay never pa siyang nakagawa ng teleserye para sa kahit anong TV network. Ayon kay Ate V, hindi naman sa ayaw niyang magbida sa soap opera. Sa katunayan, looking forward siya na magkaroon ng serye sa telebisyon very soon. Sa press con para sa reunion movie ni Ate V at ng movie icon na si Christopher De Leon, ang When I Met You in Tokyo, natanong ang award-winning actress kung papayag ba siya sakaling kunin siya ni Coco Martin para maging bahagi ng primetime series na Batang Quiapo. Sagot ni Ate V, bakit naman hindi? Pero alam niyang hindi ito magiging madali dahil base sa pagtatanong niya sa mga kapwa niya artista, kabilang na dyan si Boyet, napakahirap gumawa ng serye lalo na sa panahon ngayon. Sabi pa ni Ate V, kailangang masagot niya muna ang tanong kung kaya na ba niyang sumabak sa matinding challenge ng paggawa ng teleserye na talagang kakain ng kanyang panahon.
Wala naman excited naman ako, why not, di ba? Kasi, aminin ko, wala pa akong ginawang teleserye yet. Not even once, hindi pa po ako naka-experience ng teleserye. Kaya nagtatanong ako sa kanila, kasi matrabaho yet, di ba? Yun ang iniisip ko lang. Yeah, kasi ang trabaho mo yata every other day or every day. Yun ang tinatanong ko sa sarili ko.
You do about 17 sequences
a day?
Yes.
Na hindi ko
You have to memorize all of that. 17 sequences.
Yun ang tinatanong ko sa sarili ko, kaya ko ba? Ngayon kung may mga offers man, tinitimpla ko muna ang sarili ko kung kaya ko. Kasi pag tinanggap ko yun, I need to deliver 100%. Diba? Wala kang angal-angal pag nandun ka sa set, ba't ganyan, ba't ayoko. Pag tinanggap ko, tatrabahuhin ko yan 100%. Pero if I'm not ready yet, then I don't want to take the risk.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Bay!
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Beatrice Pinlac. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.